Hey traders, Jonathan here with Control the Trade, and I want to do a follow-up video to the video that I posted the other day on stocks that were falling apart, that were once, let's say, the hot stocks or the darlings of the market that everyone was piling on. Most of them were short squeezes, and now we're seeing the aftermath of that at this moment as they're all in kind of a free fall mode, catch a falling knife type mode. We're trying to find the next levels of support for these stocks. This is something we've been warning about for a long time. I try not to give my opinions too much. I try to let charts do the talking. But what this looks like right now is exactly what we expected. Over speculation, over hype, too much FOMO, and a lot of bag holding. This, to me, looks like the beginning of what we're going to start seeing with more mainstream stocks. We're going to start seeing a reversal in the SPDR. We're going to start seeing a reversal in the SMH and all the NASDAQ 100 and all those sorts of stocks. You just can't sustain this type of run up this long. If you just look at the history, that's what we're doing here. We're looking at the charts. Charts tell us the history, and you have to pay attention to that. If you don't believe in technicals, believe me, I used to not either, and that's all I look at now. So that's got to tell you something. Fundamentals are second, technicals lead the way. There's no doubt. You have throw in psychology, market sentiment, and yeah, you can talk about the Fed all you want and say that the Fed is holding the market up, but there comes a point where there will be a tipping point, and something will break this trend and you will get a reversal. The market moves in cycles. This is no different. The only difference is this is an unprecedented cycle. I have some alerts going off. Let's see what's going on here. I have a couple trades that look like they're about to pop. Let's see if we can start to look at some that might get filled. TTD, the trade desk, one that is run up like, whoops, I just bought something. Let's see what it was. Did I just hit the low on MGNI? Let's see. I think we're looking pretty good. I just had a buy order, a resting buy order, about $30.30. And let's see if that holds up on this candle right here. If you look at this, this is actually another great example of what we're talking about. This one's not as mainstream. It's not as talked about as, say, a Fubo or a NEO or one of those types of stocks. But you can see this is coming to the 200 period moving average. The low of this candle here is 30.20. So I had a buy order right above the low of this candle. So 30.20 to me is kind of my line in the sand here. Let's see if there was a gap. 30.06 and we opened it. Yeah, I mean, 30. I'd be comfortable taking another $30 stab at like $30 on this one. If it tries to flush down, looks like I have another alert going off. Take a look at my phone. There's a lot of activity today. I mean, you have a lot of selling off going on. Let's take a quick look around the horn. And look at that. Virgin Galactic, we talked about this last week in last week's video. We were looking for a bounce around, I think, 17, and we're starting to get into that zone. We're going to start flushing hard. We're at 1822 right now, it looks like. Let's see. We hit 1822 earlier, and this is still a pretty bearish pattern, although it does look like a reversal candle was put in right here on the daily, on the 10-minute chart, I mean. You got to hold the low of this candle here, which is 1839. So let's set an alert there. If you lose 1839 on 10-minute closes, chances are we're going to go to test 18. So let's just do like 1837. I don't know if you can see my alerts. Sometimes when you're recording, screen recording, it doesn't show the pop-ups. So at or below 1837. I always suggest you set alerts. There's nothing more important. I'm actually working on something where I can create algorithmic alerts, AI alerts, things like that, where it understands the way that I chart and it reads all of my previous charting and things like that. But that's a story for another day. Something I'm excited about. Let's look at Uber. I've been waiting for 45 to hit. If you look at the daily chart, you can see 45 is on there. We've dropped below the 200 period moving average, very bearish right now. The low here is 45.72 and the low today 45.75. You get below 45.72, 10-minute closes, hourly closes, I would not be surprised if we start flushing down to 45, which should be a good buying zone depending on when it happens and how it happens. We'll keep an eye on that. TTD, let's go back to that. Look at this terrible open here. And it looks like I was trying to sell this short at some point. I had a small kind of tester order in there. Did not get filled. Wish I did. I think I just missed it by a buck or two actually now that I'm looking at this. And now I'm interested in putting that in as a buy order the other way because I'm looking at about 520 for support. So we're going to change that order up. So this is all live right now. So you kind of get a look inside my head. That's canceled. You probably just saw that disappear. And we're going to set an alert, and we're also going to look for the a buy around, I think 520 there's a gap. We're going to take a look. Look at this. Okay, you have your 20-month moving average, 484. Not saying it's going to get there today, but you do have a gap here. I think we can see it better on the weekly chart. Let's take a look. That is really ugly. The low here is 543.46. That's where I was trying to short. And then we have a gap here, 473.17. Yeah, so it's around 475. I remember seeing another gap though, a little higher. That's still a good area to watch though. Let's draw a line here real quick just so we can look back and see. Did we actually get there and I missed it? Let's see. The low, nope. Okay, 525. I remember I wanted to buy a little lower than that. Let's see. Is that the gap right there? Close at 518.78, and we opened at 529.99. So, and the low is 526. So we have a little gap here. 525 would be a good area, which I guess we already hit. So then we're looking at about 519, 520, 521, somewhere in that zone. I'm going to look to buy and look for a bounce. If you don't get a strong bounce in that area, chances are we're going lower. A lot of the times it's how the chart reacts, the algos react, and you try to find those magnetic numbers that the market is interested in revisiting. And right now, to me, it's about 520, 519, 521, that zone. So let's set an alert at or below, say 525. Because sometimes what will happen is you'll get to your number and it'll just flush very fast and you'll get a big spike down if your number's right. And the algos will flush traders out, they'll kill stops, and then you'll start seeing buying once we have that capitulation low. So we're going to watch that one. That's an interesting one. Let's revisit some of the other stocks from the other video, including Plug. Okay, I've made a few videos on Plug. We talked about 2460. We talked about 2460 and how this was just coming down slowly and creeping down and how ugly the chart was, and you can see today is no different. So we need to bring up another long-term chart here just to see if there's any other clues of areas that we can find support. We're always looking at different time frames to find clues of support and resistance. And the low here is 22.25. Did we get there? We're well below that one. Okay. The way this is going right now, it looks like it's destined for the 20-month moving average, believe it or not, which is about 17 and change. There might be another area that we can find support before that. I'll look on the weekly here. Yeah, there's just nothing really standing out to me on the chart. At least when I'm doing this kind of impromptu view, I'd have to take a much deeper dive when I'm not recording to really dial this in and see where some support might be. We probably would be headed down to, let's say 20, and then I would think 1850 or so would be good support. Just at a glance here. I'm going to set some alerts. Let's take a look at NIO. There's a lot of people that love NIO. I'm sure they're very frustrated with NIO's performance, but stocks have destinations, and this one still has its destination to me, which is going to be in the mid to high 20s. And you can see evidence by today breaking below the 200 period moving average. Definitely bearish. Not getting any support out there. Shorts are piling back on for sure, and you have a lot of longs just giving up. Maybe they're taking profit because it broke out here, and they decided, you know what, I can't take this anymore, and they're selling. But we do have the 50-week moving average right here at 32.89, so that is a great area to watch. I'm going to set an alert there. So maybe we still have some more support before it continues down further, and it could turn around, of course. Anything can happen in this market, as we've seen for the last year. So 33 and change would be a good area to watch for support on NIO. Take a look at a couple more stocks before we wrap it up. Amazon just came into the 20-week moving average and did not really bounce. So that's 32.24 and change, and we broke it. So we're probably going lower. We're probably going to challenge the low of this candle here, which is 31.61. Maybe not that low, but I could see it breaking 3,200 and knocking more traders out. I could see it breaking 3,200, and then we'll see what happens from there. You do have incredible support below, though, with the 50-week moving average. Let's check the daily. Now look at that, the daily chart. You had the 50-day and the 200-day moving average. Very strong support here. 32.15, that'd actually be a pretty good area to buy. 32 down to 32.03. Somewhere in the middle of that, I could see it finding support. We're right there right now, so that's another area I want to set alerts to maybe get an intraday bounce here. So I'm going to do that. 32.07 off the top of my head, 32.13. Those have been numbers that have been supported in the past. That's totally off the top of my head. Let's check a couple more. JMIA, we've talked about this one plenty of times too. Look for my videos on JMIA. We've broken a very important area of support here, and since that has happened, it's gone down lower, and I expect it to probably continue lower to about $19 a share. That's a good area to find support. Again, we're trying to find support on these stocks that have run up really high and have been beaten down thereafter. Let's finish up the video with Uber, because we're really starting to come into that. We're starting to come into that important area with Uber, and I'm going to set some more alerts. You can see it's slowly dripping down. Let's go to the 10-minute chart. That's a chart that I use often, obviously for day trading. It's really dripping down here, 45.60. Not a lot of volume. We're tapering off as expected. Making an intraday low here is bearish. I would expect lower prices to continue, and I'm still looking for my bounce at around 45.25, maybe a little bit lower than that. This was a quick look. I hope this video was helpful, and please like the video if you found any value in it, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do. I'll make more videos like this, and anything you guys want to see, any tickers that you want to recommend that I look at, happy to chart those for you. I really appreciate you watching. Thanks a lot. Remember, don't let the trade control you.